Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Learning GT Cars series. In this series, I'm going to learn how to drive GT cars. To do this, I'm going to go through the career mode in ACC. In the first episode, I was in the Lamborghini Young Driver program, where I had to complete some tests. I had some ABS issues along the way which slowed me down, so I didn't get offered a contract by one of the big teams and had to settle with a smaller team in the Sprint Season Cup. We are at round 1 of the Sprint Season Cup at Zolder, so let's jump right into it. I have never driven this track before, so I have to learn it in a 10-minute practice session. So it was only as I was writing the script that I realised that there was a problem with the recording, and the whole thing looked like this. Fortunately, I did the races on a different recording, so there's nothing wrong with them. So, right from the start, there was one braking zone I couldn't get right. Going into this double chicane, the braking zone is just as you stop turning from the corner before, and it was so difficult to get right at first. Because I always use F1 cars, I usually have to get used to braking 50 to 100 meters earlier than usual when driving GT cars. It took me a few laps to get used to it in Monza during the young driver test, but because I'd never driven this track before, I didn't have this problem. The car felt pretty good. It was a little on the understeery side, but was really fun to drive, and because I didn't have to correct oversteer all the time, it meant it was much easier to learn the track. By the end of practice, I could kind of get the braking zone right. I was still very slow there, but at least I wasn't flying off the track all the time. I was just using the first quali as a second practice session, and I managed to put myself P10. I was much better at the braking zone before the double chicane now, so I was optimistic for the second qualifying. I wasn't messing around in the second quali, and I managed to put my car on pole for race 2. So given I don't have any footage from the other sessions, let's jump into race 1. So, I don't know how, but I managed to turn off the ABS assist and I can control it manually. I got a good start and made up 5 positions, and then got cut off very dramatically by a Lambo, and we did actually make contact. I did manage to embarrass him into the double chicane though, and pulled off an amazing move which brought me up to P4. On lap 2, I spotted an opportunity going into the first corner and took it. Going down his inside, I was running 3rd and started to catch the leaders. I was getting more and more comfortable with the car and track and started pushing and pushing more, setting fastest laps. After I caught up to P2, I spotted an opportunity into turn 1 again and took it. It was a carbon copy of what happened last time. I was so much more comfortable with the car and track, so I was pushing hard to catch first place, and a few laps later I was with him and planning my move. Out of nowhere I made a move into the hairpin and took the lead. I was so comfortable now and was pushing even harder, but then I pushed a little too hard and went wide into the double chicane. I stopped pushing as hard and started preparing my pit strategy. When the pit window opened, I came into the pits, but I didn't know where the pit entrance was, let alone the pit limiter line, so I lost some time to the car behind and came out P9. I overtook the Audi in front of me in the hairpin and then started catching up to the cars in front. For those of you who do not know, the second driver is Lewis Hamilton. I'm driving as him now and he will also be starting race 2. With just over 17 minutes left, I had caught up to a couple of cars. I overtook the Audi shortly after into the hairpin, and I panicked for a second because I thought I wasn't going to make the corner and take us both out, but fortunately I made it. I was stuck behind the Lambo for a bit, but then I made a dive bomb into the double chicane and got past. Then I was a little too confident and missed my braking point going into the hairpin at turn 9 and they got past again. Just a couple laps later we came across a back marker who obviously did not know what a blue flag was, which slowed the Lambo down. Then I was able to make a move into the first chicane. The next 9 minutes and 30 seconds were spent completing the race. You didn't think I would retire, did you? I managed to finish P4 in my first race after starting P10, so I was pretty pleased. Now let's move on to race 2. Race 2 is another 40-minute race, but it just starts in the afternoon. Starting on pole, I wasn't sure when or if I was supposed to start moving to lead the formation lap, but after an awkward 12 seconds, I decided to move and see what would happen, and the next thing I know, we are about to start the race. I managed to get a good start and moved over to cover P2, who fell back a little. The next few corners were uneventful until I decided to completely miss my braking point and went wide into the chicane again, picking up my first and only warning of the race. The next 20 minutes are pretty good. I was setting fastest lap after fastest lap and extending my lead. I've skipped through them though, so if you want to see the full race, make sure to like and subscribe. My massive lead would become pointless though, because I still didn't know where the pit line was and ended up slowing down way before it actually came, and I had the weirdest pit lane battle ever. I ended up coming out behind the two Lambos, so I started pushing to overtake them. The lap after I pitted, I almost crashed into an Audi who was exiting the pit lane, even though my race engineer told me he was coming out. Nothing very exciting happened for a bit. After everybody had pitted, I was up into P3 and spent the next few minutes catching the leaders. I skipped ahead to when I caught up with them and spent a couple laps following them, before overtaking one and moving up into second. I was focusing on the car in front, trying to see where he was faster than me and where I was gaining on him, and I was pretty much matching him until I overtook him and started pulling away again. On the final lap I got a fuel warning, but I had enough to get to the end. I almost binned it after the double chicane, but then I crossed the line to take my first ever win on ACC. I think I'll increase the AI difficulty for Brands Hatch, so I have more of a challenge, but I was really happy with the win. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe. These videos take a long time to make, so donating to my channel would really help me out. All the money goes towards my racing career. Once again, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.